morning. I feel like I should call this like Good Morning Chats with April as I drink my coffee, but I received a ton of messages from my chat yesterday where we were talking about what do we do when we are having negative talk or self-talk in a workout? How do we create these triggers so that we don't just deny that they happen, because it's very natural for those things to come up, but what is our system for how we combat them and not let them bring us down and kind of just take us off track of where we're trying to go. And so with that being said, I want to piggyback off of that and dive into a specific example of when I was feeling significantly defeated and what that looked like for me. So it's always funny. I have been doing CrossFit for, since I was 18. So you do the math, it's been a long time. I've done a lot of workouts in those times. I've had a lot of seasons, but it's always interesting to me that there are specific workouts and specific times that I remember very minute details. And this story is going to be one of those. And you'll kind of understand why this one stands out. But I've gone through a ton of different seasons. I've been really strong. I've been not as strong. I've had certain skills. I've lost certain skills. I've focused on school. I've focused on having a baby. I've gone through pregnancies. And so I've done a lot of different things, and I've watched my body grow and regress and all of those things and all the emotions that come along with those things. But I remember specifically I was in a season where I didn't really have a specific goal that I was chasing. I was still working out 5 days a week, and I was showing up, but kind of just like being blown by the wind, just getting the work done. I at the time wasn't specifically on a macro cycle of any kind. I was just kind of in a maintenance phase. I don't even remember if I was tracking, but I've been doing it for so long. I do kind of have like a general, like I know, what protein generally looks like for me and things like that, but very, very like not strategic by any means. And I remember we started specifically with split jerks. We had split jerks from the rig, and I was videotaping myself just watching, and it felt really heavy. The percentages should not have felt that heavy. My technique, I was just slow, and I was just not super satisfied with how things were going. But I finished it, checked the box, moved on. And this was during open gym, which I wasn't doing open gym consistently at the time. Open gym is something typically you do like a competitor workout where there's longer strength pieces, more technique work, and the workouts could possibly be heavier and maybe higher level skills depending on the day. And so I remember this specific workout, it was an EMOM. And I remember the two movements in it. I can't remember if there were only two, but I remember these specific two for a reason. It was 95-pound power snatch and toes to bar. I'm working out with the typical competitor crew. I remember Billy and Jamie being there specifically, and they were having zero problems, and I got buried. I'm pretty sure there were minutes where I probably took off. I couldn't keep my heart rate down or get my heart rate down to be able to jump on the bar to do the toes to bar within the amount of time frame. I remember, I'm pretty sure I even stripped my bar at one point. I decreased reps. Like I was going through all of the things, and I was just getting buried, and I couldn't find my way out. And I just remember after the workout, I just kind of sat by myself and I bawled, and I was just sitting in my emotions of like, what was that? What am I feeling? And what am I going to do about this? And I just remember that I could hear my husband in the back of my head, because he's always like, it's okay to feel the way that you feel, but what are you going to do about it now? And so I just kind of sat there and created a game plan of like, what am I not happy with? I'm not happy with the fact that there are skills and weights in that workout that I've done in the past and have done well, moved fast, that I was heavier. I had more body fat on me at the time than I had in other seasons, which definitely changes the way the gymnastics movements feel. And so in that moment, I laid out what I wasn't happy with, and I set a game plan. I started checking in with my husband again, and we got myself back on a nutrition regimen. We went through an entire reverse cycle, a cutting cycle, and the entire year process, and that commitment and what that. This was also the time that I decided to commit to hiring a gymnastics coach. One of the best decisions that I've ever made in my CrossFit experience was taking the time to go back to the foundations and hiring somebody who is an expert in that field. And I regret not doing that sooner. Jess Estrada is amazing. So if you feel like maybe you've been in this situation or are currently in this situation and you want to do something about it, definitely recommend her. She's amazing. But nutrition, gymnastics, and then showing up and giving it everything I have and just letting that be enough. Exactly what I said yesterday. I didn't compare myself to anybody else. I had a game plan and I stuck to that. I stayed committed to that. And there were hard days. I got my butt kicked many more times. But it was okay because I knew that I was putting the steps in that I needed. And it definitely wasn't an overnight success story. I would say a full year, and then being able to look back on that year of like, holy moly, look at how much I've done in just a year. But when you're in it, you're like, gosh, I'm doing all this stuff. Wish it would happen faster. Like, those feelings are normal, but you can also look at it and be like, well, I mean, let's also look at all the time where I wasn't putting in that type of effort. So you have to be realistic, and you don't have to be negative or focus on the negative to just be like, it makes sense. Like, it makes sense that I'm not really fit right now because I'm not focusing on that. But if you want to change that, change it. And if you don't want to put in the effort, then you need to change your expectations for what that means for you or means to you. And so I hope that this story is something that maybe you can learn something from. And if you want to change something, create an action plan of what are you going to focus on. And that might mean hiring outside help. Sometimes I think we underestimate, we look at like how much hiring a professional costs. But if I could tell you the years that it's saved me, it's been worth it 10 times again in many different aspects, whether it was an Olympic weightlifting coach, a nutritionist, a gymnastics coach, all of those things. It is worth your time, your effort, and your results to hire somebody who knows what to do and how to get there. So have a great day, ladies, and I look forward to seeing you soon.